But I was like, man, I can't let him get away. Then I ran up to the car and I let off 2 shots. Doof, doof. Now I'm thinking like, oh man, I just killed this man. I'm running right back to the house. I only shot him like in the shoulder, and he just did the whole play dead thing on me, hit possum on me or whatever.
So, Miz, I know you've done a bunch of time, man. You've been in different prisons, different places. You were in one of the most, what I say is one of the most dangerous prison systems in the country. I know you did some time in Georgia, but we're going to talk about you, talk about your life and what your life was like growing up and how you end up in prison. Tell me about you and where you're from.
All right, well, for those who don't know out there, man, like I came from a little area in North Jersey named Plainfield. And like it was kind of rough for that small area. But then I went to North New Jersey, what they call the bricks, and I was living in the projects in 212 was my building. And like I used to just see a lot of stuff going on when I would go outside or whatever. And this is around the time where like Akbar Prey and those type of individuals was out there doing their thing or whatever before he got locked up. And I would take notice to just the people outside, and I was like heavily influenced by the things that I saw. And I kind of like was just coming up, like getting older and older and seeing a lot of things. I saw some people like kind of like die right in front of me at an early age. I remember trying to pick somebody up off the ground. Half of his head was blown out. And they like, "Leave him alone, put him down, whatever." And I put the man down only to go into my building and see 2 more deceased people and stuff like that. So, like, I
Let
wasn't
me stop you though, brother, because there's a lot more to this story, right? We're going to get into that, but you end up
okay.
moving into the projects. Tell me why that is. Is your mother a single mother? Your father around? What's life like that forces you to Newark and into the projects, Jersey?
Like, really just being, unstable. It was a lot of instability, and with this instability, we started, like, going from place to place, apartment to apartment, and then once, like, my mother, once she found somebody, this person was already, like, living in the projects, and we shot out there, like, better having a roof over our head than being in a car or something like that, so we was there, and that's where like a lot of the ills of the world and temptations came into my life at that time.
How old were you at that time when you end up moving to Newark?
Um, 10, 11, and then we left. Like I was 10 years old or going on 10, and then 11, then we left.
So you talked about some of the violence that you see in the projects. You see dude get his shit pushed back of his head's blown off, and you go over there to help him. I mean, you got to be 10 years old when this happens.
Yeah, that's a fact.
So you're
Yeah.
10 years old, but you have this compassion or this conscience like, "Yo, I gotta help this dude," or did you just know who the dude was and felt bad inside like, "Man, I gotta help him."
I didn't know who he was. I just saw that he was like kind of like twitching a little bit, but I think it was just like his nerves going. And I tried to pull him up. And when I did, that's when I noticed like all that matter coming out the back of his head or whatever like that. I didn't know that I was doing wrong. Like I just felt like I wanted to help somebody.
You didn't know that you were doing wrong. Wrong under what, pretext? Wrong because you're in the hood and you're not supposed to help people?
Because it was so many people in front of the projects, everybody was looking, and I'm coming home from school, and I wanted to take my book bag off, run to the man, try to help him up, and everybody was like looking at me like, "What is this kid doing?" Like I didn't know that it was a team or gang that's right in front of this building that did the thing. You know what I'm saying? Like I just thought I was helping. That was about it.
So when you talk about wrong though, I mean, this is something that could have put you in a bad situation. This is something that could have got I mean, look, we've seen plenty of kids, that involve themselves in, the inner city workings or things like that, that they end up getting targeted, right? They become a victim like, yo, you're a witness. Yo, we got to eliminate you. And that's some of that street thinking. Like, yo, this dude could be a witness eventually, or he might have seen me pull the trigger. So we got to eliminate him too, right?
Yeah, yeah. How about that? That's right.
I
That's
mean,
right.
that's that's that, that thinking, right? Where it's like, "Yo, look, check this out, man. It don't matter. It don't matter how old you are. Yo, you're gonna become a victim so that you don't put us in a position where we get jammed up." And, people can say what they wanna say, but at 10, 11 years old, 10 and 11-year-old kids, they answer questions when the police show up.
That's a fact.
Not I mean,
That's a fact.
not saying that you did, but, this is what we're talking about when, "Hey, look, this was the wrong thing." It's like prison politics, and we'll talk about your stay in prison, but, street politics say, "Hey, look, man, you're in the hood, mind your business, don't get involved, don't talk to the police, this ain't got nothing to do with you, so you just go ahead and you get back in your building," right?
Yeah. Yeah.
10, 11 years old, what's life like after you see this that night? Does it play in your mind? Are you scared? Are you, dreaming about this? Are you feeling compassion? Are you feeling sorrow? What does Ms. feel like that night?
Um, I think I spoke to my brother a couple times about the people that we saw, and I was like, did you see it? Like, I was kind of a little excited after we saw the next person in the lobby, and then another one when we went to the elevator. And I was asking like, did you see it? And he was like, yeah, man. I was like, but you saw the lady? She was dead too. Like, I was kind of excited, and it made me want to go outside more. And that's where the influence of the people that was out there on Prince Street was like.
You felt excited. I used to tell people that, like, in prison when they started shooting and the gunshots were going off, it's like an excitement inside. It's not like, hey, I want to run and get away. It's like it breaks up the day. But for a 10, 11-year-old kid to see people bodied and to go into the apartment complex, like, damn, there's two more people dead. It makes you excited, but it doesn't shock you, it doesn't make you afraid?
Nah, I guess I was too young to know how much danger I actually was in by even stepping outside that door. I didn't know. I was always outside.
You're talking about, it was gangs involved. I mean, what type of gangs, if you don't mind speaking on it?
Well, at that time, Akbar Prey was like running that whole block or a side of Newark, and he became a kingpin of New Jersey at a time period. So there, whatever crew he had was right there, and then we had the zoo crew like right in the back behind our projects. It was zoo crew members back there.
And they were beefing with each other.
They kept space. Imma say they kept space from each other, but if they ever, like, got territorial, yeah, it can go down at any moment.
So who were your role models? I mean, you're living in the projects. Who's your role models at 10, 11 years old?
Um, I'm not gonna lie, it was Akbar Prey at that time. This man used to, like, I remember playing tops one day, and that's like a little game that we play on the sidewalk or whatever with these little bottle caps and milk caps. We put them together and we knock each other's caps out of a square. And one of these little girls walked past and kicked my top, and he told me to like go smack her in her face. And I'm looking at him like I know that sound wrong, right? But he was like, "Man, do it. She ain't gonna do it again. She ain't gonna kick your top again." He was like, "Come on." And he took me over to her. And boy, I slapped the little girl, man. And she cried. He put me on his shoulders and he was like, "Yeah, the champ. Yeah, the champ." And I'm sitting there smiling. I got my ass tore up for that. Tore up. You know what I'm saying? But right when I came back outside, he was putting money in my pocket, a big bankroll. Told me to hold it, put it in my pocket just to see my jeans bulge and all that. Like it was different. I didn't know what I was going to become by learning and liking this stuff that I was seeing and doing, man.
So, I mean, he's got the influence in the projects, right?
That's a fact.
He was like the king.
At that time, that's correct.
And that's your role model. That's the role model. All little kids, 10, 11-year-olds are like, yo, he's got the money, he's got the cars, he's got the girls, right?
Yep.
And in the end, now he doesn't have anything, right? Got a prison cell.
That's a fact.
I mean, that's the
He
end. That's the end
actually
outcome.
just was released. He just was released like probably like 8 months ago or something like that from over like 35 years.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like at that point, like you don't have nothing. It's over. This is, the best years of his life forever gone. He can never reclaim those years.
That's a fact.
And there had been some people that had reached out to me, right, from Jersey to actually try to help him at one time, but I was super, super busy because I own a paralegal company. But, you know, it's just the thought that, someone's like, "Hey, look, man, teaching you to go slap a girl at 8 years old. Did you know that that was probably wrong?
When he said it, I felt a little resentment, and I was looking at him, like he had to like kind of like amp me up, like come on, go and do it. She ain't gonna kick your top again, and all that. And then I did it. Like I wouldn't have had just hit her, because then I would have did it when soon as she kicked it or whatever. And so I felt it was wrong, but like I was getting influenced majorly. I can say that.
You wanted to make him happy.
Yeah, I wanted him to think that I was a cool little dude out there. Yeah, that's a fact.
So you're there, you're 10, 11, and then you end up moving from the projects, right? What
Yeah.
happens? Where do you go then?
I was on my way to Willingboro, New Jersey. Actually, my grandmother pulled us out of those projects and got us into South Jersey, where it was a big change, big change.
When you talk about change, I mean, was there violence there? Was there drug dealing there?
No, actually, I think the people from the outskirts, like the guys that stayed in New York and Philly and North Jersey, like me, coming into that area, we brought that nonsense there.
When you talk about guys like you, what's your life like now that your grand moves you out of the projects? Does your mother's boyfriend come too, the dude from the projects, or no?
No,
They,
he didn't come. I don't even know what was going on with him. I actually didn't like him at all. So I didn't care if I would ever saw him again.
why do you say that? Was he do things to you guys, you and your siblings, or
Like it's just been times where like if he gotta watch me and we moving around, he got me doing long walks. And then whenever he get where he going, like this one time we had to walk downtown Newark, New Jersey, and he went talking to a crowd of people. The next thing you know, we had a pizza parlor, and he asked me, "Did I want something to eat?" I was like, "Yeah." Man, he went to the side of the building, and whatever he did, whether he sniffed it, he had to shoot it. You know what I'm saying? He did some dope, and he didn't leave out of that alleyway for probably like 4 hours. I'm gonna say like 4 hours, just nodding, and then I'm trying to pull him, trying to wake him up, and he doing his lean, about to fall but never falls, and I'm just standing there looking at him like I don't like dudes like him. You know what I'm saying? And I think that at one point my mom was making a lot of mistakes with choosing um dudes like that, man.
so let's back up a little bit then. So you know that one day he's getting high. Is he getting high in the house? Is he physically violent to your mom when you guys were living together in the projects with him?
Nah, I never saw him like be physically violent. I just saw him always asking, like, if she got some money, he's coming in, hey, I got a good deal. And then now he want to whisper and stuff like that. Then I see the money get exchanged, and he's out the door. Then he come back, he don't got nothing or whatever. He come back early in the morning when we waking up. And like it was just bad. You know what I'm saying? And I think it stemmed from the guy before him, and the impression that he left on our family. You know what I'm saying? Is what did it for me.
What was that impression?
Um, he he had to watch me one day when I was sick from school, and he waited until my mother and my older brother left, and like he didn't like us. Period. Anyway, he showed us a lot of times, but this day was just monumental. You know what I'm saying? He told me to get up and come wash my hands. And I said, I don't need to wash my hands. And he's like, man, get up, come wash your hands, right? And I'm not gonna lie, like I was super scared of this dude,
Yeah.
super scared. And when I got up and I went to the into the bathroom, I saw a footstool. So I'm looking and I see the water in there like bubbling, like the water's bubbling. So I went to go step down, but he grabbed me and then he put my hands inside the water. And this is how they came out after that.
What?
Yeah. This
How
is this is how they came out. So like due to the fact that I was young, I couldn't take the pain. I kept crying and that threw him. You know what I'm saying? That threw him for a loop. So he he's going crazy to the fact that I'm crying. And so he started beating me, punching me in my face, knocked me out, wrapped my hands up, and put me under some blankets in the closet. And then he took off. You know what I'm saying? So from that point, I didn't like stepfathers. I didn't like the sound of it. I didn't like, and I got very overprotective by the people that I love just because of him. Very overprotective, man.
How old were you?
I was 6 or 7 at that time.
And he takes your hands and puts them in hot water.
That's a fact.
6 years old, burns your hands, your skin's looks like your skin's melted on your hands.
Yep.
And that was for what?
He just didn't like us. He didn't like me and my brother, and he got the final opportunity to be around me all by himself. So he jumped at that opportunity.
So he burns up your hands, you're in the closet under the blankets, you're in there crying, upset, right? Hurt, pain. It what are you thinking? If you could remember that far back.
Um, I know when he was just saying, he was just telling me like shut up, shut up, shut up, and I was trying my hardest. Like I was trying my hardest not to cry or make any sound, but I couldn't. It hurted. You know what I'm saying? And so he's just started like punching me in my face, and I couldn't take the grown man punches, so he knocked me out. Like I got pulled out of the closet. Like my brother was looking for me to play with me, and he found me in my mother's closet. You know what I'm saying? Under, covers and stuff like that.
What happens when mom comes home?
Um, when my brother went, I guess, to the kitchen to go get her and saying like something is wrong with, my brother, and all I heard was just like a very, very loud scream, like like something I've never heard before. And I went back out. When I woke up, I was in a hospital, like with my hands elevated, hanging like this, and I had like surgical gloves on and stuff like that, and just looking at all my family standing around me.
That's crazy, man. No 6-year-old kid, no kid, no matter what age, should go through that. Does your mom get rid of this dude? Does dude go to jail for this?
Yeah, he went to jail. He went to jail for maybe like maybe like 6 or 7 years or something like that. I know he came out when I was still an adolescent, and he jumped out of a car when he saw me downtown Plainfield chasing me down the street and stuff like that.
What?
Yeah,
He ch so he's still blaming you for his actions and for what he did to you when you were 6 years old.
that's correct.
You know, that's the type of dude that should be in jail and get punished the same way that they talk about punishing people that do things to kids. I mean, that's in the same bracket, man. Like, this dude burns your hands for the rest of your life at 6 years old.
That's a fact. I went through a lot of uh dramatic things, like trying to even deal with kids in school and stuff like that. That's why when I was in 6th grade, I didn't even go to school. All of that. Like
Why
it was rough for me.
why didn't you go to school? Because they were picking on you about your hands?
Yep. I used to always hide them. I have them in my sleeves all the time, hiding it. But if somebody asks me to grab something or something, it'll come out my sleeve and they be saying stuff. So like I was like, yo, I'm not even with this no more. I'm hitting the streets, and that's what I did.
You hit the streets and said, "Forget school." At 6 years old, you're probably 11 years old when you're in 6th grade.
Yep.
So you hit
I'm
this
going on 12.
you hit the streets. When you say hit the streets, what are you doing? What's life like now that you hit the streets? You hustling?
I'm going like around the corner, like I'm going towards my school, cut through some paths or whatever, and get to an older dude's house that never go to school. I don't know how I met him. I forgot how I met him, but we'll be all over there, and I'm the youngest one there, and I'll be watching them drinking beer and having girls come over and stuff like that, and I was just starting to learn the ropes by some of these dudes that I probably would look at as like a straight loser now, but at that time, I'm looking up to him. Like, "Oh, yeah, that's how you treat a girl. Oh, yeah, that's what you gotta do." Like, I was learning all the wrong things, man, all of it.
When do you kinda immerse yourself into the criminal world?
Um, when I got, like 16 years old, like, I had chose to go back to school, And then the first person I got into it with was my principal, and I assaulted my principal, and I went to the juvenile detention center. And I think from that point, it was like nonstop stuff from that point, nonstop.
You assault the principal, you go to the juvenile place. What's that like for a kid? Is it in Jersey?
Yeah, yep,
Is
in
it
Burlington
wild?
County. It was just a lot of people that I finally like. Once I grew up, I know all these people now, but they were from like different places on the outskirts of where I stayed at, and they was just troubled youth too. And when I came in there, I didn't know none of them. They looking tough. I just want to fight them and stuff like that. Keep them off my back, and like I got respect in there. I got my respect in there, definitely.
How old are you when you get out?
I was in there for probably like 3 to 4 months, and then I tried to go back to school. They said I could not, and so I had to go to adult school, alternate school.
Do you end up in the street selling drugs and getting involved in that life or no?
Yes,
Tell me about that. Tell me
definitely.
how that starts and where it goes.
All right. I was kind of like starting off watching other people selling like marijuana and stuff like that, and I was seeing how it was moving for this certain person, and I was like, oh, like I want to get into this or whatever. Like I know people or whatever, and I honestly, I watched where he put his stuff back because he was dealing with my mom as well. I watched where he put his stuff back, and I grabbed some. I went to my homeboy's crib and we bagging stuff up or whatever, and I took it to this park one day where they was having a festival, and I sold all the stuff that I had. So I knew that it was ways to make money. But once like my area, my street that I was on started jumping, like we are selling weed and stuff like that out there, I got approached by two of my OGs at the time, like my older dudes, saying, "Look, I see that you can hustle. I see what you do. You making money. You know how to move. You know what I'm saying? You'll go do your time. You'll come back." And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Let's take you out of town. We're gonna go through this little cut. We're gonna go to this small little hood, and we're gonna put you in this house called the White House." And that's when I started changing my career from
Hold up, brother.
marijuana
Hold up.
to harder drugs I was selling.
Not the White House.
It was called the White House.
Was it a White House?
Yep. It was a White House with probably like one, two, like 8 families that stayed in there, but the downstairs area is where I was at. Behind the door with like 6 latches on it, and I would serve people under the door. They'd tell me how much they want, they send me money, I'm throwing it, under the door. And I was there for a minute, and 2, I started thinking even more, and then I cut them dudes out, and I started hustling myself and brought my own people through.
I wanna talk a little bit about when you're hustling for them, right? These are older dudes, right?
Mhm.
They kinda hit you with, "Yo, shorty, we see you doing your thing, you know how to move." Do you feel like they're manipulating your mind to make you think like, "Oh, yeah, man, yeah, that's me," in order to get you in a position where they could put you in a house? And pretty much you were probably selling drugs for petty money, right?
Yeah, I started like I actually kind of like took a pay cut dealing with them. Where when I was selling marijuana, that was all my money into my pocket and all that. So the return was excellent. But when it came to them, like off a G pack, I'm bringing back $1,000. I'm getting 300 off of it while he's making seven.
Yeah.
So like it was all about how fast I can move it now. But ultimately, I was making the money for him.
So let's talk about that house, right? I mean, you're getting 300 off a G pack. How many G packs are you selling a day? Probably a little more on the weekends, right?
Yeah, yeah, like I can sell probably like half a G pack in a day. At that time, that's just how I was moving. But near the first to the third or fifth, it'd probably be like 2 to 3 G packs in a day.
And how old are you?
I'm 48 right now.
How old were you back then, though?
Um,
17?
I was like probably like 19, 18 or 19.
18 or 19, you're hustling for other people, but I mean, if you bust off 3 packs on a Friday night, I mean, that's $900. That's a lot of money to a kid back then, 19-year-old, right?
Yeah, yeah. It was good. And then once I learned that I can get raided, because I got raided in there, and I put everything into the ceiling, and I only got locked up for obstruction of an officer lying about my name, and I went into jail. They bailed me out, and they was like, "Yeah, we gonna just throw you another G pack. Look, you good, this, that, and the third." And I was about to tell them like, "Nah, I got something in the ceiling," but I'm listening to them, and I was like, "Oh, so you want me to go right back in there right now?" After I just got, and they put me back in there. After I was done they pack, I told them I was good. You know what I'm saying? I didn't collected my own. I'm gonna do my own thing, and that's what I did.
So let me ask you this though, right? Because a lot of people don't experience what it's like to get raided for the police to hit the house and hit it with the battery ram, run in there. Sometimes they see it on, TV shows or back in the day on cops. What's it like for you though when they because I mean, I've been in a couple raids, right? What's it like when they hit that door and people are coming in there running, screaming, "Police, put your fucking hands up." The whole thing. What's it like for you inside that
Man,
house in that moment?
I know since I was behind the door and I got it locked up, I just know that it can be a lot of people. When I open the door before, I see people all on couches. They all smoking, some sniffing, some doing all different type of stuff. But it was a funny voice this time that was saying what they wanted, and they didn't say it the same like everybody else. I'm like, I got 30, let me get three, or I got such. He was like, give me whatever you can for this, man. Give me, and that it just came off weird, and I'm looking, I'm like, $70, give me what you can. And I shot him at 7. I didn't know that that was it right there. That's all it took for him to say what he was gonna say, and I heard a big boom, boom, and telling people to lay down, lay it down, lay it down, and then they trying to get into the room that I'm at. That's when I jumped up on the counter, I mean the dresser, and put everything in the ceiling, pushed the ceiling up, threw everything in there, brought it back down. I jumped down and they were still kicking at the door, but it had 6 locks on it. So they told me to unlock the door, and I did, and they just grabbed me up. I mean, like, I still wasn't looking at things as being that serious. I didn't know if I would have got caught with all that stuff, I would have been gone for a minute, a good minute.
Let me ask you this because, you say you're sitting in the house. Is this a smokehouse or is this just a spot? You're not the only person in there. You're letting customers in there to get high?
Yeah, some people owned that part of the that house. They owned like a apartment part, and they was on the other side of the door. When I come in, I'm going into their master bedroom and then locking all the locks, making sure I got everything counted for, and then I'm serving under the door. But I always give it to one of them, either her or him. It was a couple, and then they'll give it to whoever that's coming to buy it. But it was just they were known to supposed to always have stuff, and it was because of me.
So you're in their apartment, you're in the master bedroom. You
Yeah.
got a gun in the house?
Nope, I didn't have a gun at that time. Nope.
No gun in the house. So now you throw a couple packs in the ceiling. How many packs they giving you at a time though? I mean, obviously you work your way up and they trust you with 3 or 4 so they don't have to come, right?
Yeah, yep. They would do that on the first or the right before the first, the day before the first, on the 31st. I'm coming there and I'm set up, and they'll probably give me like 3 G packs right then and there. As soon as it's done, start hitting their phone so they can come for more. But on a regular day, we doing like a G pack, like, and then I'll call them when that's done. And another G pack, I'll call them when that's done. Like, so that's how we was moving into White House.
The White House. But so anyway, you got the packs up there, you bust off their pack, you make your 300, but you grab the shit out of the ceiling, and you're like, "Yo, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm on my own now."
Yeah, that's a fact. I brought my own people in, and I think I kind of messed up by doing that because I no longer was behind no locked doors. I wanted to see them in their face. I started walking through the crack smoke and all that, going to sitting in the kitchen down at that table. I'm serving the people myself, looking at them while women are trying to come enticing me with saggy boobs, they butt dropped, but they faces almost to the ugliest form, but they still got pretty eyes or whatever. And they saying stuff, I do this for you. I'm sure I'll suck this, I'll do that. I'm like, nah, like I'm good. Like I started dealing with people like face to face. And I think that kind of like gave me a hardened look at certain people from my past and all of that, man.
So, I mean, on a Friday night, they weren't coming in or you weren't talking about, "What's that thing going for?" No, I'm just I'm just playing with you, bro.
Nah, nah, not at all.
I'm just messing with you. But, so you take over the White House, these dudes ain't like, yo, in their feelings, like, "Nah, bro, this is our spot. You ain't about to be selling no drugs out of our spot."
Now I noticed they told me don't go upstairs too. They said don't ever go upstairs. It's some chick that one of them dealt with or whatever, and it was because it was like a whole house upstairs. It was a different type of money going on up there, but they never came back around that area. They thought it was too hot. That's why they put me in there.
Yeah.
They didn't want to get locked up, but they wanted their stuff to move. So I saw what time it was.
So you're getting a couple of dollars, you're selling your own stuff. What's it like for you now? Now you're putting money in your pockets. What are you doing with your bread?
Honestly, I was shopping a great deal because I will go day by day just being out there and then go to a hotel that's probably like 10 minutes away, sleep there, then come back into town. Now I'm renting cars from different people while they sit in the house and smoke and I'm moving around. And like that's when people in that area started noticing there's other people in this town hustling. So they're watching me make money, spend money. I'm buying jewelry. Like I was very, very immature at that age because if I can fall off one time and there's no way for me to re up again.
Yeah.
Like the overhead, I'll spend it, or I'll get some girls around, and then I'm just blowing through the money. Like I was wilding.
Just running through it.
Yeah, that's a fact.
So eventually, do you end up getting knocked selling drugs? You end up going to prison for drugs?
Nope, nope. I got caught my next time going to jail, I got caught in a stolen car with a rifle in the back that I got out of this crib or whatever. And I was going up north and I got caught in Middlesex on my way to North Jersey. And they set me down for a couple months in Middlesex. And actually that's where I ran back into the dude that burned my hands. I ran into him as an adult there and got my get back.
Let's talk about that. You got some get back. I mean, what's that like? I mean, you're a grown man now,
And
right?
yeah, that's a fact. Like I was there for maybe like 3 to 4 months, and I knew everybody in the dorm. And I was coming out for early morning chow or whatever, and we sitting at the table and I'm eating, but I feel like I got butterflies. My stomach is going in knots, and I'm looking around trying to see like, is it somebody that like I'm supposed to be afraid of or something? Because I'm feeling crazy. But when I look straight ahead, I looked at this dude and he has the one gray eye and one green eye with the protruding forehead and his eyebrows that go up. And I looked and I actually I blanked out, man. I jumped over the table. I'm trying to choke him out. I'm punching him. Like I didn't want to stop. I don't know what happened with him. You know what I'm saying? I just kept on hitting him, kept on hitting him. And my people that like my celly and stuff like that, they trying to grab me. I'm like, nah, 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 it's personal. And I keep hitting them and they jumped in too. The people that was there, they jumped in too and helped me bring him into the room. And I was telling them, like, yo, this the dude that burned me. I was waiting to see him. And I'm not gonna front, like we damn neared him in there.
Was he screaming,
Yeah,
apologizing?
he was yelling. He was trying to get away. I'm talking about when he hit the ground. I was kicking this man like a soccer ball in his face and his mouth, and teeth knocked out and all this stuff, trying to close his eyes, but he slid under the bed and he grabbed him a banger and he stabbed me in my leg. And that's when I kind of like moved back or whatever. And I started stepping back, and then everybody else started moving back as well. But already they had the CERT team and all that coming through, running towards the area where we was at fighting anyway.
I mean, that dude was a source of a lot of pain for you, man, not just physical, but mental and emotional. I mean, being in school, kids harassing you, making fun of your hands, like that was probably, devastating. And now it's your turn. I always say, man, people always get their turn. It happens, man. You get your turn. And then you just unleash on this dude.
Yeah.
let him have it.
That's a fact.
Did you feel better afterwards?
Honestly, no, I didn't.
You
I didn't.
you
Like,
still
I carried that pain and that anger for a long time,
do you
a
still
long
feel
time.
like if you ran into him today, you'd like to slap him again?
Nah, not anymore. I matured the day that I forgave him. Like, after I got out of prison and stuff like that, and when I heard that he had got killed or whatever, and I was listening, I was like, all right. And I was like, well, I forgave him. Like, I don't have the energy to run at that pain that try to take him off the earth and all that. Like, I didn't believe that the vengeance was still mine. You know what I'm saying? So
So he gets murked. He's gone. He's no longer here.
that's a fact.
And how's that happen?
Um, hmm, he happened to get killed behind one of my ex's apartments in DC when I was traveling through the states or whatever. And actually, like, I had to talk to detectives and stuff like that about it because I got off on a layover, a break in DC at that time. I didn't know that though.
So what did they popped him? Was he robbing, stealing?
I don't know why he was going through the back of her apartments, but they caught up with him for some reason. I don't even know the guys that actually did that to him. Like, I was going to try to contact them and tell them thank you. I was still in that mind state at that time, and I was going to put money on their books and everything. But once I got back to Atlanta, and then these detectives came and was telling me like they did good police work. You were there, you got off. We see you on the cameras going up the steps, going out to the outside of the station. Why'd you come out there? I was like to smoke a cigarette. If y'all saw me, y'all saw me. And I turned right back around and I got on the train and I left. Like, and they couldn't put it together. Like, it was what it was, but it was pretty ironic that I was in the same state, never been there before, but got a layover at the time that this happened.
Did they shoot him?
Yeah. Yeah.
Might have robbed him, or he obviously did something, right?
Yeah, he probably was with a lifestyle of trying to F people over and all that. Like, I don't know why he would be in DC kicking up dust. Like, I don't know why, man.
Crazy. So eventually, I mean, you're traveling all over, but eventually you end up catching a case over your chick too, right?
Yep.
And that leads
Yes,
to going to
I did.
probably one of the most dangerous prison systems in the country. Tell us about that. Tell us how you end up catching a case in that. Where is it in Atlanta?
Yep. In Atlanta, Georgia. I was actually doing like a party promoting type of thing, but I would only do it in Jersey. And I will fly out from Atlanta to Jersey, make a few G's at these parties, and then go back. But this time I thought I was trying to be romantic or whatever. And I told my girl, like, dag, my flight got canceled. I'll be there tomorrow. Don't worry about it. This, that, and the third. But I was already in town. I was coming from a flower shop, actually, getting some roses, and I jumped out the car, and I remember looking at the license plate, and it said popcorn, and I was like, popcorn, like, and I thought that was the corniest thing in the world to see on a license plate somebody put their nickname or whatever. And I went next door to my little Migos crib, and I asked him for my firearm. He gives it to me. I'm going into the house. So now there's Guns and Roses. And I start going up the stairs, and all I hear is this woman like having the best day of her life. You know what I'm saying? And
Hold up, bruh. She's having the best day of her life. Like, whoa, okay.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And it automatically put me into like crazy mode. Like, now I'm walking slow and I'm hearing it more and more. I was like, all right. And when I walked up, the door is wide open. They're having sex. And I see it. He sees me first, jumps up, rolls, and then I'm yelling at her. saying all this stuff, "You dirty this, you snake, you this, you that," and he done ran past me and grabbing his stuff, trying to put it on and running down the stairs. And something told me, "Stay there, tell her what's going on, leave her." But I was like, "Man, I can't let him get away." And I ran and chased him. He done jumped in his car already, but he turned the opposite way. He went to the entrance coming back where the gate will come this way and people are coming this way, about to come in. And he's sitting there, they beeping the horn and stuff like that. I ran up to the car and I let off two shots. Doof, doof. This dude plays me, go "Meow," and hitting the horn. Now I'm thinking like, oh man, I just killed this man. I'm running right back to the house. I only shot him like in the shoulder, and he just did the whole play dead thing on me, hit possum on me or whatever, and I ran into the house. Everybody told what direction I went into and everything. And I yeah, I before I ran into the house, it's like a little pond or lake right there. I threw the gun in there and they came right in there and locked me up. Came right in and locked me up.
So you run up in the house though. Do you have a chance to talk to your girl, say something to her? Well, I mean, his girl or your girl. I mean, I don't know whose girl, but
Nah, she when I was coming back upstairs, she ran into the bathroom.
so there's no words
And I
exchanged.
yeah, it was no words. Like she was playing like she was scared, like I was coming for her next or something. She went into the bathroom. I went into our room and I went into the closet and I'm trying to use my phone to call some people to get a ride to get away. Like now I want to jump in a different car. And I jumped into a cop car. That was my little first stint right there where they was trying to give me well, they offered me 15 or 17 years at first, and then 15 years. I still was saying no. I kept going back to the county, and then they said with the time that I had already put in, like 9.5 months, we're going to give you a 10, but you do three. I was like, do three. I was like, yeah, I'll take it. I jumped smooth on it, and I didn't know that I was about to take a ride to the worst couple years of my life. Like I messed up my time. I did not get paroled early or nothing like that. I stretched my time by fighting so much just to survive in it.
I want to
Like
ask you.
it,
We're,
it
we're we're gonna get into prison in a second, but what about old girl? Is that it? You guys never talk again? Does she come see you in the county? Does she come see you in prison? Like, yo, I'm sorry.
she finally came around like after a year. She came well, she called up there and the counselor called me and told me that somebody called and they said her name. And I was like, well, what's going on? She was like, she wants to visit you. Can you put her on the visiting list? And I'm like, what? She want to visit me? I saw her on the other side of the courtroom when I was getting sentenced. And I found out that the guy was crazy. He started asking her for money for what I did. And she didn't want to do that. So he started calling like bomb threats to her job so they can like the whole staff would be outside. Now he running through the crowds trying to get her and stuff like that. So she knew she was messing with a cuckoo, and now she wanted to get back with me, and she did. We made it work, and we're actually friends to this day.
Man, that's a cra I mean, this is like an episode off of Cheaters, right? And then Love Connection. You guys end up being friends. That's crazy, bro. So let's talk about, going to Georgia. I always have said that, the 2 worst prison systems you could ever go to is Alabama, Georgia, and then, I've got Florida at probably, like, number 3, Mississippi, but Georgia's definitely a dangerous place, not a place that I would ever wanna be. What's it like for you? I mean, you're from the East Coast, you're coming from Jersey. What's it like for a East Coast dude to be walking into a prison in Georgia?
Man, honestly, it was a little rough even starting off coming from the county. And I would always tell these people this is how I got into a lot of fights before the stabbing started. I'll be like, "Yeah, I'm from Jersey." They be like, "Yo, son, what you say, New York?" I was like, "Nah, I'm not from New York, fam." You know what I'm saying? And I don't say son. He was like, "Yeah, I son." Like, yo, you hear New York saying son, like playing. They straight was playing in my face a lot. And then I had to find a method to that. And the method came like whole hand slapping. Like that's what I had for them. You want to play bow. Now what you want to do? We can do whatever you're trying to do. That's that's what I had coming in there. That type of chip on my shoulder coming in there. First day. This is how I'm coming. And after a while, it got tiring, bro, of proving my point every camp I keep going to, and the camps are getting worse and worse. Like my first day there, I saw somebody like get stabbed up right in front of me. I'm watching the whole thing, and they standing over him, just stabbing him multiple times. And I noticed that nobody helps. Everybody just looks, and then we disperse. When this is over, we disperse. And once I knew this was the way of the walk, nobody talks about it, nobody does nothing and all that. Wait till some time go by, go to a different camp, be like, oh yeah, you saw what folks stabbed Buddy up? He got him in his eye, pulled that thing back, and they hit him in his face like 7 times. Like, then they'll talk about it. And I was like, yo, I'm in a diabolical place, man. Diabolical.
Absolutely crazy.
Man.
Absolutely crazy life, right? So, some people might be like, "Oh, man, he wasn't in Georgia just slapping people, he's capping." So when you're slapping these dudes, I mean, they're not fighting back, these dudes ain't ganging up on you? I mean, are you winning every
Yeah.
fight?
Like like 3 dudes. One in the county I slapped. Me and him went to go fight, and when he threw his hands up, I knew he could not fight. Fighting is not popular. Everybody doesn't don't even know how to really fight. And once I saw that, I took advantage of that. Now, if it was like a gang, and like they didn't really talk to me. Like gang members, I didn't allow people to play me close. It was the ones that I thought was halfway decent, and then they want to start playing. That's the dudes I was treating like that. Gang members, I'm not around them. I'm not playing with them. I'm not even near you for you to play with me. If I'm coming out and I'm offering salat and I'm with my Muslim brothers, we doing us, nothing else. I'm not trying to hear no gang, nothing. I don't want to hear nothing. So, like, if you're not talking about the deen, then you wasn't around me.
So you were Muslim in there. I mean, you're Muslim now,
That's a
right?
fact. That's a fact.
Were the Muslims respected over there in Georgia?
Some places they wasn't like underlined they wasn't, but for the most part, yeah, yeah. It's all about finishing. Like, we didn't start stuff. We was the best defenders. We end stuff.
Yeah, so let me ask you this though, right? Because sometimes the Muslims get a label, right? Some people, oh man, it's just a gang, man, hiding behind a religion. Them dudes are gang members, right? I mean, you probably heard that
Uh-huh.
plenty of times too, right? I mean, you got
Of
some brothers
course.
that are on their dean that are doing the right thing, but they get busy too. Like I was in USP Lee with one Muslim brother that was he put 2 knives on his hands and he got busy. I think it was in K Block back in maybe 2009. Like this dude was like he was the Wazir of the Shirta team, right? Security. And like dude
Uh-huh.
got busy, but he was kind of like a humble dude all the time. So I mean, Muslim dudes get busy, but what do you think about when people are like, "Nah, Muslims are a gang"?
Um, if I met someone, because I have met some younger guys that I see with a gang or heard they were with a gang, and then they tried to come in the folds of Islam. You can't fake being Muslim. It's certain things that you gotta know, and it's gonna be in your heart. Like, you'll know it verbatim, and you'll be able to speak it. Don't come dancing around with the Arabic. If you don't know what it means in English, you're not gonna get that feeling from it. And I saw through that. So for the most part, the brothers that was dating with me, like hitting their head on the ground with me, I know they was on point. I know they was on point. And like for the brothers that was in Valdosta State Prison, I gravitated to them the most because they showed up and showed out for me, and they knew me for only what, like 10 minutes. I came near and somebody stole my stuff as soon as I got there. I stepped away from my cell. I came back, I had nothing. And it was a gang member. It was a GD that came and stole my stuff. But I know once he opened the bag and was like, All right, it's a lot of food, but I see a kufi, a prayer rug, a Quran, some hadith, all this stuff in there. How you gonna get that out your cell? What you gonna do? And I took the proper like protocol, announcing it in the dorm. Yo, somebody just stole my stuff. They like, man, come on, get off that big floor with that dumb shit. Like, go ahead with that, fam. I'm like, what? And I remember our OG telling me, like, if they not listening to you, man, pull the cord out that wall. You gonna get some straightening. They gonna start paying attention to you then. And that's what I did. And they got even madder though. These dudes is like, yo, I don't know what you doing, folk. You just got in here. You gonna fuck around, get your whole head bust open, put that back in the wall, man. And I was like, Salam alaikum. Salam alaikum. And that changed the whole trajectory of my situation. Like 7 doors up top opens, like 6 or 7 at the bottom open. And they said, well, alaikum assalam. What's good, Sheikh? You just getting here? I was like, yeah, somebody just stole my stuff, Iguan. Somebody just stole all my stuff, Quran, everything. And they went back into the cells. And I was standing on the big floor. When they came back out, it was my first time seeing a gold rod, a pillowcase with the fan motor, the machete, the bone crusher. They had it all. They came out extra ready. And I remember the shortest dude in the group, real muscular. He's walking up to me. And he's looking very, very stern. And he's looking at, he said, where you just came from? I was like, where state prison? He was like, there's no stealing in this dorm, bro. You like, do you know that Muslim stuff is sacred? Your property is sacred. I was like, I know that. And he was like, well, we're gonna go door to door. And when we find that person, we're gonna pour him out, or a life flight gonna have to come land in the big yard and get him up out of here. And I was like, all right. And I went door to door. I felt like I was just starting problems. That's how I felt deep down in my heart. But I went door to door, seeing all these unpleased faces. The Nietas, the MS-13 standing in front of their door. They angry because they don't want me going in their cell, not stepping past their threshold. But I had to go in there. The Crips, they're standing there looking, the GDs, GFs, is all different type of gangs in there, and I'm just going in people's cells. And then when I got to the next to the last cell, I looked at this dude that was he had his hands folded, he looking straight, but it's like I can see his like jaw kind of jumping. I was like, fam, I'm just about to look in this cell real quick, man. This the last cell, bro. You know what I'm saying? Then I'm going. I was like, good looking. I go in, and he knew what was going on. As soon as I looked down, I saw my stuff. So I automatically tried to turn around because I know he's on my heels, and he was trying to green light the door. And if it green lights, nobody can help me at that point. And he was already on me. I turned around, started swinging, but one of my brothers put their foot in the door, stopped the door from closing, and they came in with all the artillery and they swinging crazy. They told me to move out the way. I didn't have no knife. They're like, move out, move, come on, get out the way. And they pouring them out. I'm talking about, I don't, probably maybe 35, 40 times he got stabbed. And they took turns. Like, after them young brothers came out, the brothers from the Citra team, even bigger, went in there, beating him, stabbing him up. They took him out to the in front of the door. They threw him over the rail. And he hit this octagon stainless steel table that was down there on the big floor that's bolted to the ground. It ain't moving. He hits that, boom, drops on the ground. Now I look over there and I was like, damn, I got more time. This is all I was thinking about. I just got more time for this shit. And the Amir of the dorm, he walked over to me and said, Rock, how much time you got, bro? And I was like, a 10 do 3 right now. He's like, what? What is you doing in Valdosta State Prison? We all got life, bro. He's like, nah, go to your cell because them boys about to come down here too. We got this. I go to your cell. And I said, Shakran. He said, F1. I go down the stairs and I go to my cell, and my cellie is in there getting beat badly because he was sitting there on the big floor watch the dude steal my stuff, watch him violate our cell, and he didn't say a word to me. So the younger Muslims found out, and they was in there beating him, and they about to put him on the door. And they send him up out of there. They beating him. I'm watching. They got his bedroll and everything, all his property, put him on the door. And while I was standing there, I was like, "Yo, this ain't right. I don't like the feeling of this part. The other part I can go for. This part I can't." So I came up the stairs. I went to do. And I remember putting my back to the officer's booth, and I was like, "Why didn't you say nothing?" And he was like, "Man, I've been in this cell for 7 years, man. And how I make it through here and not get touched is by keeping my mouth shut." And I looked at him, and he couldn't say nothing better than that. I helped him with his stuff, and I said, "Come on off this door. Come on, let's go back to the cell." And while I was looking around, I saw some real unhappy faces because I didn't know it wasn't a thing to get people off the door. If they get put on the door, they're out of here. And I went and got somebody off that door. And that became my celly, and we was extra cool from that day on. But in these prisons, in these Georgia prisons, man, it's you come out, you're gonna come out way different than you went in. I can say that. It's gonna be very dramatic and it's very traumatizing, man.
One of the worst things you've seen. You said it's traumatizing. What traumatized you the most? Because I remember you saying when you were 10, 11 years old, you watched a dude get his shit pushed back and you were
Yeah.
okay. So what's the
All right.
difference now that you're older and you're more mature and you're in this prison system?
The last war that popped off with these Bloods. I don't know if it was just the Billies coming into the prison now, but we was beefing with some Bloods. I did not know. I had the young boys in my cell, and we was going over the life of the book of the prophet. We're reading that. A brother comes, opens the door all fast, like, come on, them pop, it pop, it pop. Now everybody start moving. The young boys, they went out the cell. I guess they going to get their weapons and all that. Grab their fire, tie up their boots, put stuff around their neck, throw their coats on, and I'm doing the same thing in my cell. And when I went to come out, Big Ock is standing there. Shahid is standing there, and he like, what you doing? Boom, and he pushed me, closed the door. And he was like, "I need you to go home. We need you out there. What the hell's wrong with you, man? We need you out there, man." And he ran off. And I'm looking, I was like, "Yo, all I see is a crowd go like merge, like almost like man, it looked so crazy because you can hear a big roar and then merge and then cling, 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 cling. And I'm looking, and I started seeing three people fighting the brother that put me into the cell, and they're backing him towards the steps. And he's swinging his machete, he moving around, he moving good, but I'm looking out, I start banging because I see two of these blood dudes jumping over the rail to get behind him. And they started getting the best of him, and he fought right back to the place where he was talking to me at, right in front of my door. And I saw when it hit, it chunked him in the side of his face. Then he turned another way. A dude stabbed him, and he's trying to fight. Yeah, man. Uh, yeah, he was trying to fight the best that he could. And I watched him. I was looking directly at him. If the door wasn't there, I can touch him. And they did him bad, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I watched him take his last breath. I kicked on that door. I punched the door. I rammed at it. I tried everything I could to get out there. I couldn't get out there, but he saved me. He pushed me back in that cell, and I had to take that with me. I had to take that with me. You know what I'm saying? So that was one of the more traumatic things that I can say that I was closely involved in right there.
So you watched him lose his life.
Yeah.
Some people, man, that don't really know about prison or people that are just tuning in, they probably don't realize, how real this shit is. Like when came home from federal prison and I started to learn how to work the phone, some of the first videos I seen were from prisons in Georgia. And I remember this one with this white kid, they were like flushing his head in the toilet and beating him up. And then I think I did a video on this and put his video in there. And I'm watching these white dudes just get punished over there. Like, no respect, man, none whatsoever. I mean, he had some swastikas on him, and he was blasted out a little bit with tattoos. Probably one of them dudes that acts like he's tough, the tattoos, like, "Yo," and then they just put the beats on him, he's not even fighting back. What was it like, for white dudes in there?
Um, you have some that is extremely wild, but they have their reputation by their self as an individual. Um, when I first came to the prison system, they was just starting the ghost space gangsters.
Yeah,
They were just bringing that together. And I watched how, like, when they started moving collectively and stuff like that, but they were tapping into the drugs trade or drugs trade and trying to get money. But I saw it like changing. They started doing the drugs and losing their respect and playing games like they was losing more than they were winning.
yeah.
And they started off strong though. And but it's still dudes in there that they not gonna play the radio, man. There's some white dudes in there that play with it. That's all he wants you to do, play with it. And he gonna mess around and break your neck off the rip, like with no problem.
So after this incident with the Bloods and the Muslims, right? I mean, you stay in the unit, do you get transferred? What happens?
Um, some of the dudes that were with the Bloods, they got transferred. A couple of the brothers in the dorm got transferred. I was in the cell, so when they came peeling people up off the ground, because I think 3 people died that day. And they peeling them off the ground, putting them on the carts and all that, taking them out. And like you can just see the search team looking around to see who's standing outside their door. If they got blood on them, they taking them and they gone. And it was probably only like 6 it was 7 of us still left there because it started off with like 15 of us, and it was 7 of us left. And the next transfer day, more people came. So just like filling a positions type of thing. And it just got worse from that point though.
And
It got
eventually, I mean, how much time do you end up doing total before you go home on that bid? 3, 5?
um off the 10 do 3, I wound up doing 4 years. And before then I went down for a 5 do 2. But the longer bid was the second time that I went down.
So now you end up getting out of prison. What's life like when you do get out?
It was honestly, it was kind of good. My housing was straight because the girl came back to me, rolled out the rest of the time. I never missed a store day. I always had everything, and she was telling me like, "Oh, we just moved into a townhouse, and we just got another car." And I'm listening. I hear her. I appreciate what she's saying or what she's trying to do, but I know it was not mine. I know none of that stuff is mine. I didn't work for none of that. But she allowed me there with open arms, knew I had 7 more years on parole probation. I walked it off with ease. Every anger management class she took me to, like, helped me with my resume and stuff like that and cover letter to get a job. So that part, like bringing myself or getting back acclimated outside in society, it went all right for me. It went all right for me. But just thinking about certain stuff that transpired in there. I don't even know what I have not saw. I've
Yeah.
saw body parts come off of individuals, left on steps, eyes coming out their face, water, bubbling hot water with magic shave splashed 2 times and disfigured somebody's face. people getting thrown over the rails, officers trying to actually kill me. You know what I'm saying? But I saw them do that to someone. Um, Big wars on the big yard when the Mexicans fought against everybody. Um, when they killed old Chain Gang pops, when Little Shot-Town dropped a floor buffer off the top onto Big Bubba's head. Like, I saw too much. I heard too many grapings going on in the different cells when I was in the hole. People getting their manhood taken, and the sound of it, like, it was just too much. It was too constant too.
The
It was too constant.
those things that you've seen, those things that you heard and experienced, does it still bother you today? Does it affect your daily living? Affect you when you sleep?
Um, I used to have dreams of stuff like that. It's only after or before I'm about to do a video about a situation and I'm trying to think how it went. And then once I fully get it, I be sitting there in awe, man. Like, dang, I was really there. Ain't nobody gonna believe this shit.
Let me ask you
Like, you
this.
gotta be there to know that this stuff is going down. And it'll make you a believer. It'll make you a believer, but you gotta go through it though.
Like I said, if them videos weren't out, I mean, there's some vicious videos with dude. You probably seen these videos. I mean, dude's on the door. He's trying to the tall, skinny black dude. He's on the door banging, leaking everywhere, falls on the ground, and I think pretty much he probably died. Or they have the video of the dude like upstairs on the he's over the railing and he's been gone for a couple hours, and there's no cop in the unit. Like, that video circulated everywhere a couple years ago, like, "Yo, dude's dead, and there ain't no police here to get him. He's been dead for 2 hours, just laying over the top of the railing in the unit." Like, I mean, that's a no one you better be tough if you go there, right? Better be a
Yeah,
real tough guy instead of a part-time tough guy.
yeah, you actually have to.
So what are you doing
You
now
have
with your life, man? You're out, you're living your life. What are you doing? Tell people how, they can find you and what you're doing.
I well now I have became a prison content creator. I talk about all things county jail, prison, and chain gang related. I want to expand on all platforms, giving people the insight and bringing forth awareness of the dangers in the prison. So, with the Human Rights Coalition, I go to their channel and I check everything out. And the people that's getting unalived, I make videos about it after doing my research. And I have talked to at least in the last 2 months I talked to like 10 families of someone that got unalived in the last 2 months. And they've been wanting answers and trying to figure out how to go about it. And I've been helping out, and I feel great about doing that and spreading my journey through the prison system and see if I can help somebody along the way. That's all I want to do.
Do you work a job or no?
No, not at the time, due to the fact that I have some certain conditions. I have writer's syndrome, you know what I'm saying? So it stops me from working. And that's only because after I got shot or whatever, when I got out of prison, I got shot up. Like my bones had bullets fragments sitting on it that was all rusted and stuff like that. And whatever it did, it brought a severe arthritis to me, and it attacks my joints. I just got over it, attacking my eye, but it will put like white films over my eye, like I'm blind, and I can't keep one as bad as I want one. So that's why I do what I do, here where I stay at.
Are you back in Jersey? You still in Atlanta?
No, I'm in Jersey.
In Jersey.
I would never do that Atlanta thing no more. I'm done with that.
So what's your channel? You got the YouTube channel. What is it?
It's Big Miz FTZ from the zoo. Big Miz FTZ.
We're gonna put your link in there so people can check you out. Look, man, I appreciate you coming on, sharing your story, your experiences. The things that you've been through are absolutely wild. We're probably gonna have to do a part two, talk about when you got shot and all that stuff. But anything you want to say before we get ready to go?
Man, just for people to be safe out there, and please don't do nothing stupid and find yourself in somebody's county jail, prison, or chain gang. That's about it. And thank you. Thank you for bringing me on.
No problem. Definitely appreciate you coming on. But tell people, man, if you like what we're doing, you already know. hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Check us out on TikTok. Check us out on that Spotify. Definitely trying to get that thing jumping. And if you want to come on the show, we got in-person interviews right from the studio. We can also do the remote ones, but we're trying to get people in. So hit us up. Hit us up on the email. It's in the description. Blood on the Razor Wire TV. Until tomorrow, we're out.